Good evening, beautiful peoples. Welcome to another segment from Recorded by Richter. Today I'm back with a little bit of hip-hop content for you because there has been a lot coming out so far in 2025. Obviously on this channel you're going to get a lot of mixed things. I just put out Pink Floyd and before that was hip-hop, so you're never really going to know exactly what to expect out of my stuff, but I've got a lot of different interests in the art world, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. I've got more paintings. I'm working on a segment for Little Dragon. I'm looking on a segment for Musicians versus the Machine. I'm doing quite a bit of script writing right now. So you will get these things in weird, wacky orders, and that's just kind of how I am. But anyways, back to the hip hop talk for today. Starting out 2025, I already cut a little bit of a segment about how regional rap is back, and we alluded to that being kicked off by Joey Bada putting out The Ruler's Back. If you're unfamiliar with Joey Bada is a rapper from Brooklyn, New York. He's been out since 2012 now. He has 4 projects: 1999, Before the Money, All American Badass, and 2000. That's not a ton of projects for how long he's been out, but he also is an actor and has taken breaks to do acting in this and that. But I think that's going to play into what people talk about if they go back at Joey Bada and everything. And we already discussed The Ruler's Back, setting the tone and everything for 2025, so I'm not going to dwell on that one. I'm just going to move right along into the order of how all the responses and freestyles, at least that are on my radar, came after that. So the second one that caught my radar would be the very next day. And I want to mention that because there's so many different elements to how you grade hip hop, especially when it's in this battle form of, competitiveness and timeliness is always be one of those things that kind of gives you a couple extra points, I guess I should say. Martin, aka Problem, who has been out since 2013. He's age 39. Joey's 30, by the way. He turned 30 yesterday. So happy birthday to Joey Bada, and shout out to the whole Pro Era team. But anyways, Jason Martin, the very next day, puts out Chill Out, which is a response to Joey. It wasn't anything crazy. It's more like just a song of like, the West has got it right now. Why don't you just chill out? It wasn't anything super scathing or anything like that. More like a West Coast banger, very West Coast in the Sonics. Yeah, didn't list off all of Problem's albums because it's a little confusing when you try to look them up because there's 2 different. He's got it under Jason Martin and Problem, and so he's got a lot of music though. He's a prolific artist and has been dropping music since 2013. So after Joey puts that out on the 1st of January, you already have Jason Martin, aka Problem, with Chill Out on the 2nd. And 3rd, you have Daylight, who is another LA rapper. Jason Martin, by the way, is from Compton. I don't know if I said that or not, but Daylight is another California rapper from Watts, California. And he is 39 years old. If you're unfamiliar with him, he has 3 projects you can hear: King Queen, Jesus is King, and Hero's Peace. Now, full-length studio albums isn't really what Daylight is known for. If you're unfamiliar with him, he's known for the battle rap world. He's got a lot of stuff in the battle rap world. And so him putting out albums is a lot fewer and farther between, but he's got, battle raps galore, and he's known for his battles and doing the antics there. So you can go look up all of his battle raps on YouTube. They should all be there, or if not, just Google it. But anyways, he comes back with Hayu, January 7th, so basically a week after Joey Bada had put out The Ruler's Back. Daylight hits us with this. And this one, it's not super scathing either. It's a good song, and he definitely mentions a few things. He brings up Capital Steez's name, which I'm sure just mentioning it probably doesn't sit well with Joey, but he didn't diss him or anything. He didn't diss Capital Steez, but just the mention of it makes people on edge, because if you're unfamiliar, Capital Steez unfortunately took his own life back in the mid-2000s, and he was going to be a monster, man. That one still is upsetting. Not for just the music, but just for how awesome of a dude he was and everything. But rest in peace to Capital Steez. But Daylight, one thing I wanted to mention about this is the beat for The Ruler's Back and the beat for Hayu kind of remind me of each other. They're not produced by the same person, I don't think. The Rulers is a Conductor Williams beat. I'm not sure about the Daylight one, but it's got that repetitive sample in it, that vocal sample that like keeps to come back. The one in Joey Bada said, "I'm back." The Daylight one starts off on a similar thing like that, so it already made me think of it. But this one kind of just served as like a warning shot to like, you know, I can go crazier. Obviously, I'm Daylight. I can battle rap all day. But this is just going to, you know, here's just a little one to calm you guys down over on the East Coast and get off your high horse is kind of what Daylight seemed to be saying in this one. And then on that exact same day, January 7th, this is an artist that may not be on quite as many people's radars, but still just an absolute monster. And I actually said I was going to cut a long form piece on him. So I'm not sure if I'll do that still by putting him in here. I probably still will later because IDK has just served me so much awesome music since he came out. And that's who I'm talking about. IDK, if you're unfamiliar, he started his career going by JIDK. He's from PG, Maryland. I actually found out today he was actually born in the UK, but he was raised in PG, Maryland. He's an American rapper. He doesn't have any more ties to the UK besides being born there. But kind of like 21 Savage, I guess you could say. But IDK, G3 Tweaker, Freestyle. This one's less direct. This is definitely a braggadocious, I'm the best type of freestyle, but it doesn't send any direct shots at Joey or anyone else for that matter. But I don't want to leave IDK out of the conversation because, you know, he's started is when his first project came out, Subtrap. Then you had Empty Bank, then I Was Very Bad, then IDK and Friends, Is He Real, IDK and Friends 2, Use For Yourself, Simple with K Tronada, entirely produced by him, F65, and then more recently the Bravado Intimo from last year. That's 10 projects. He's 32 years old. He's got 10 projects in a decade. That's an average of one a year, which is a tremendous output. I love, and he hasn't missed either. That's the thing about these type of projects. You know, he doesn't get the acclaim and the backing of a Kendrick Lamar or a J. Cole or a Drake, but this is one of those artists I talk about, like Lil Sims, who's like lesser known but hasn't missed and just continues to give these awesome projects and projects that are pushing their creativity forward too. IDK is just a perfect example of that. You know, he's a fantastic rapper. He can also sing. He's got this cover of Pharrell's Frontin' is just like so gorgeous. You should go check that out. It's like so well done. I'm such a gigantic fan of his. And he dropped G3 Tweaker one. I want to face off. I y'all motherfucking felt like it was trying to be part of the conversation too, because, you know, even though he's lesser known than these other guys that I'm mentioning, he's still known in the industry big time, and he still has the respect of real spitters. And so I wanted to make sure that his name stayed at least on my list. I don't know what everyone else is talking about, but he's definitely on my list. So him and Daylight both put that out third. Both of those came out on January 7th. And then the very next day, we get Crash Out Heritage by Ray Vaughn. So Ray Vaughn, if you're unfamiliar, is another TDE rapper like Daylight. And Ray Vaughn signed with them in 2020. So he's one of their new artists, and they've been developing him over the last handful of years over at TDE, and he is a problem. Ray Vaughn, now this one is the first scathing freestyle that like really, he's dropping names, you know, he's going directly back at Joey Badass, even goes at Tory Lanez and a couple other people, I think. Ray Vaughn is a monster. He spent the last year dropping all these awesome freestyles. I think his album got pushed back because Kendrick dropped. I think he joked about it on Twitter, how he's not dropping anytime soon now because of Kendrick's album came out. And I don't blame him for that, honestly. It was a smart move on his part. But he's going to be a big name. I mean, keep your eyes out for Ray Vaughn, because he not only killed it with his performance of his song Problems at the Pop-Out show, but all those freestyles that I mentioned that he dropped last year were just phenomenal. I'm a big fan of his. I think of the ones I've mentioned so far, I think this one, the Crash Out Heritage, is the standout. That would be the fourth one that dropped on the 8th. He's also from Long Beach, California. He's 29 years old, so he's more comparable in age to Joey, although Joey's been out a lot longer. Joey came out in 2012. He came out in 2018 as far as his albums go, and I know that he has one on the deck ready to go. So that was number 4. Number 5, I think, would be, let's see, January 13th for that one. All right, so 2 of them came out on January 13th. These would be the next 2 to come out. I'll mention the Dave East one first because I have less to say about it. But Dave East,
never will I lose. I cruise. I feel like
Dave East is a 36-year-old rapper out of Harlem, New York, who has he's probably one of the most prolific rappers next to like Styles P and Currency maybe. Like, he drops so often, it's crazy. He's been out since 2010 and he has 25 projects. Dave East, Harlem, crazy, always been one of my favorite spitters. He's more in the underground camp too, but a lot of these dudes kind of are that I'm talking about. And he is just phenomenal. I'm such a Dave East fan. I think everybody needs to get on board with what he's got going on if you're not already. His is also less directly taking shots at anyone. His is more of the same cut of the IDK one that I was talking about. But that came out on January 13th. And then probably the most scathing and menacing one, in my opinion, out of the batch that's dropped so far would be Mick Jenkins. Mick Jenkins put out Wars and Rumors of Wars on January 13th. Mick Jenkins, if you're unfamiliar, is a 33-year-old rapper out of Chicago.
They said it wouldn't be televised.
A lot of projects too.
You would think it ain't no revolution.
Water, Waves, The Healing Component, More for the Anxious, Pieces of a Man, The Circus, Elephant in the Room, and The Patience. And then they dropped an EP, I think, called Type Beat on a different platform that he's kind of working with and going for, which I'm definitely going to go check that out. I guess it's like $20 and people are complaining on the internet, but like $20, and then that also gets you the 8 projects that he's already put out that are so amazing. And this one to me, this and the Ray Vaughn one are the 2 ones that I think Joey Bada should be thinking about the most, because Mick Jenkins, I think, put out the best one of all of these, in my opinion. It is menacing. The beat is hard. Mick Jenkins' bars are, every line is just like, it's like a punch to the gut. The way he delivers his lines. Yeah, Mick Jenkins is not for play. And then just yesterday, on January 20th, Martin Luther King Day, Joey Badass's 30th birthday, he drops his next song, coming back at all of this. You know, he really stirred some shit up with the Ruler's Bag. And so yesterday he came back with Sorry Not Sorry, which is another Conductor Williams produced song that he dropped. And this one, man, this is a dope track to me. Like, you know, he doesn't directly go at these guys that I just mentioned, which is my only issue with it. I think that he skips ahead in a sense. I guess that's my one critique of it. You know, he goes after J. Cole in it. But I would personally like to at least see him handle either Mick Jenkins or Ray Vaughn, because if he thinks that he's just automatically over those guys, that's crazy. Because Mick Jenkins and Ray, man, those guys are a competition for you big time, man. These guys are big time competition for you. Mick Jenkins is a problem. But, you know, the video, the sonics, everything Joey's talking, I love it. It's very menacing as well. The conductor beat kind of plays perfect into like the snowy atmosphere of the video that they have going to it. You know, also a representation of the East Coast. You know, it's cold over here. You know, aesthetically in the video, he's representing the coldness of it. You know, he's got winter gear. He's standing in the snow. A lot of that kind of imagery plays into how scathing it looks. And when the beat switches, man, and like when the way the visual and the sonics line up, really reminds me a lot of like 90s Wu-Tang. Like, it's got that kind of vibe to it. So I really love it. I'm interested to see what's going to come from this. It's crazy Joey trying to bait J. Cole and Kendrick outside. He's definitely doing that on this too. He doesn't, I mean, he more directly mentions Might Delete Later and J. Cole, but that also kind of feels like a call of action to Kendrick, because like Might Delete Later, you know, Joey won't, but like that's kind of to me is speaking to Kendrick too. Like I'll do this. I will go there. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think Kendrick or Cole come out quite yet. I think it's gonna take a little more work to get these two out, but that's where we're at with it right now. As far as all of these go, I hope we get more. I know we got some more stuff that's gonna come out for sure. I can't wait for Joey's album eventually, because if it ends up being all Conductor Williams beats, he might be kind of nice with this. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Joey, as much as I love his new song, I don't know that I'm putting it over the Mick Jenkins or the Ray Vaughn. I don't know if I'm putting it over them, but I also don't think this is all of it. Like, I think Joey is a very intelligent artist, and he knows how to play chess. He's not gonna give you everything right off the rip. He's gonna slow play this and and really build some steam, because he doesn't have the direct steam that like a Drake and Kendrick do when they start going at it, like that makes the world drop. Like, he's building the audience back at the same time as doing this. So I think it's brilliant on Joey's part. I think it's brilliant on all these other guys' parts. I just love that hip hop is back to focusing on lyricism and quality music. Because I tried to hear that Travis, after listening to all this, I tried to hear this new Travis Scott snippet that's going around the internet, and it's just such a nothing burger to me. Like, Travis Scott just makes such music that is so void of personality and any kind of like thought process. Like, I guess you could say his music is good sometimes, but man, it gets hard for me to listen to a whole Travis Scott project when he ain't saying nothing ever. But anyways, I didn't mean to turn this into a ranty thing. So that's what I got. 2025 rap music is so beautiful. It's competitive like the era that I grew up under. Blocks, baby. Love you guys. Peace.